It is recommended by the text on Ayurveda that oil used for making Siddha Tailam, or herbal oils, be pre-treated. The process of pre-treating oil is known as Sneha Shuddhi, purification of fatty substances, or Sneha Muurchhana, fortification of fatty substances. In addition to the basic herbs in a Tailam, which add medicinal qualities, there are certain herbs called Muurchhana dravyas added as a catalyst to help increase the absorbability of the oil and other herbs, and to add pleasant color and fragrance to the oil. Muurchhana dravyas are substances which increase the potency and effects of herbal formulas and increase their digestibility and efficacy. Many formulas taken orally include herbs to increase digestion. Muurchhana dravyas are added to herbal oils for similar reasons. They help the oil to enter through the pores and penetrate deeper into the tissues and organs. They also enhance the therapeutic effects of the herbs in the oil. The process of cooking such herbs into Tailam is called Taila Muurchhana. Tailam means oil, and Murchana means augmented, treated, or fortified. Murchana is conducted as a preliminary treatment of the oil, which is then cooked again with the pradhana dravyas, the principal ingredients, which give the oil its particular medicinal qualities. Oil which has undergone the process of Murchana is referred to as Murchita Tailam. Treated ghee would be referred to as Murchita Ghritam. Sometimes Murchana herbs may be cooked into the oil along with the principal pradhana dravyas. A good example of this is the addition of manjishta to many oils to add a deep red color. Though the older texts on Ayurveda, like Charaka and Sushruta, do not mention Murchana in their recipes for Tailam, it has become standard practice for many manufacturers of Tailam in India to perform Murchana of oil with certain herbs for most, if not all, of the herbal oils they produce. The first mention of Murchana in Ayurvedic literature is in the Bhaishajya Ratnavali. This classical text on herbal formulas provides recipes for Murchana of different types of oil, and it calls for Murchita Tailam in all the recipes for oils in the book, most of which have their origin in the older Ayurvedic texts. Though Murchana is not necessary for many Ayurvedic oils, it is always beneficial. Murchana can be very helpful to reduce the heavy quality of the oil, and it lessens the effects of oil to weaken digestion and increase ama, toxins, in the body. Murchana also helps herbal oils to penetrate deeper into the muscles and tissues of the body, allowing the medicinal substances to work on the deeper tissues. Herbal formulas prepared in Murchita Tailam are generally more effective than those prepared in plain oil. Murchana is particularly useful in the case of herbal oils that contain heavy herbs like ashwagandha, shatavari, or bala. Many ancient recipes included Murchana dravyas as a part of the recipe, like Dhanvantara or Mahanarayana Tailam. In the case of such recipes, Murchana is not necessary, but would still help increase the efficacy of the oil. Other recipes, like Kshira Bala Tailam, contain only the oil and the pradhana dravyas, in this case bala roots and milk. These recipes benefit from the addition of Murchana dravyas, and many modern makers of Ayurvedic medicines routinely add these substances. It is customary for most manufacturers of herbal oil in India to add a few Muurchhana dravyas to herbal formulas, even when the full Muurchhana process is not performed, to ensure that the finished product has an attractive color and fragrance. Most herbal oils in India have a distinct dark orange color from the addition of manjishta and turmeric root. A distinct process of Murchana using varying ingredients is recommended for ghee, sesame oil, mustard oil, and castor oil. Herbs suitable for use as Muurchhana dravyas for the Muurchana of Thailand may include Triphala, Trikatu, Trisugandha, Lodra, Ketaki, Hrivera, Ushira, Musta, Manjishtha, Vacha, Kulanjana, fennel, dill, coriander, black cumin, turmeric, daru haridra, jatamamsi, licorice, kapikachu, neem, andrographis, brahmi, bringaraj, dashamula, nagakeshar, nirgundi, witch hazel, calendula, hibiscus, and many others. Herbs like Triphala, Trikatu, Trisugandha, Musta, dill, fennel, ajuwan, vacha, anantamula, shati, kulanjana, turmeric, and hrivera are used to help reduce the heaviness of the oil and increase the absorbability by increasing dhatvagni, absorption by the tissues. In general, any herb with agni dipana or amapachana qualities can be used, though those with a pleasant aroma are to be preferred. Agni dipana herbs are carminatives that increase appetite and digestion. Amapachanas are herbs that cook undigested food toxins and help to remove them from the body. These herbs help to counterbalance the heaviness of oil and are very useful for oils meant for internal consumption or when ama toxins are present in the body. Coloring medicated oils is a good practice. It makes them appear more attractive, and their color helps to empower the oils by creating a visual appearance of potency. People are very easily deceived by appearances, and though Ayurvedic oils are extremely potent, many herbs do not change the appearance of oil very much. People can get the wrong impression and assume that oils do not have much potency if their color is like that of normal oil. Oils with a deep, beautiful color are easily understood to have special properties. The herbs most often used for coloring oils in Ayurveda are manjishta, which gives a red color, and turmeric root, which gives a yellow color. When used together, these herbs give Thailam a beautiful deep orange hue. It is important when using these herbs to color oil to bear in mind the intended use of the oil and to proportion them accordingly, as both these herbs can stain the skin and clothes in large quantities. Other herbs suitable for coloring Thailam are madder root, a close relative of manjishta, or bloodroot for a red color. Beets or hibiscus may be used for a purplish-reddish color. Carrots can impart an orange color. Annatto seeds, safflower or saffron for yellow, black walnut hulls, or black ash for a brownish or blackish color, spirulina, spinach, or fresh leafy herbs for a green color. Many hair oils are given a traditional green color, by the addition of freshly pressed juices of green leafy herbs like Brahmi or Bhringaraj. Some manufacturers of herbs in India have begun to color hair oils, in particular with synthetic colorings. This is not necessary for color, nor does it enhance the efficacy of the oil. Synthetic colors should be avoided. Hair oils in particular are often very low-quality products made with very little medicinal herbs and very many synthetic colors and aromas. One must take great care when purchasing hair oils to avoid those which smell like perfume and to favor those with a natural herbal aroma. Certain herbs are also used to scent the oil. These herbs can help to cover the smell of more earthy smelling ingredients in the recipe. They help to improve the aroma of the finished oil to make it more pleasant for people to use. Herbs like Triphala, Hrivera, Ketaki, Ushira, cinnamon, Nagakeshar, Vacha, Jatamamsi, Dashamula, and Anantamula can be added to improve the smell of oils. These herbs are often added during or after the cooking of the oil in order to preserve their volatile aromas. The subject of scenting herbal oils will be addressed more specifically in a separate video on Gandha Dravyas. It should be noted that Murchhana Dravyas are also used to alter the heating and cooling properties of oils. This can help make oils suitable for all three doshas. This subject will be addressed more specifically as we talk about the recipe for treating sesame oil. Sesame oil is the most common oil used for preparing Siddha Tailam, medicated oil. If a recipe does not specify which type of oil to be used, it is assumed that sesame oil is intended. We will demonstrate the process of treating sesame oil for use in recipes. The basic recipe for Muurchhana of sesame oil from the Bhaishajya Ratnavali calls for 1.5 liters of sesame oil. We are processing a larger amount of oil, 1 gallon. We will provide the amounts from the original recipe for 1.5 liters of oil. If you want to process a gallon of oil, as we do in this recipe, all the amounts provided can be multiplied by 2.5. To process the oil, first the oil is heated in a large pan, and then a paste made from powdered herbs is added along with pure water. For 1.5 liters of sesame oil, 96 grams of manjishta is called for. This amount of manjishta will make a very dark colored oil. It is important to note that if you use this much manjishta, the resultant oil will stain the skin and any clothes that it touches. This may be desirable in a therapeutic setting where it will create the appearance of a very potent oil, but it may not be desirable for everyday use. If the oil is intended to be thinned in base oil before use, this amount of manjishta may not be problematic. Even though we tend to dilute most herbal oils in base oils before use, we still recommend using a lesser quantity of manjishta than called for in the recipe, 2/3 of the amount called for in the original recipe. This would be 64 grams for 1.5 liters of oil. This amount still gives a dark and brilliant color to the oil, and still has the potential to stain fabrics, but generally, if it is used with care and allowed to soak into the skin for some time before allowing the skin to come into contact with clothes, it will not tend to cause stains. The other herbs in the recipe are called for in the amount of 24 grams each. We are showing a list of the other ingredients along with possible substitutes. For the Triphala, we do not recommend any substitutes because these herbs are relatively easy to find and their properties are very unique and difficult to substitute for. The ingredients called for are each of the 3 fruits, the triphala, amalaki, haritaki, and vipitaka. Hrivera or coleus root, haridra or turmeric, musta or nutgrass root, lodra bark, ketaki or pandanus root, nyagrodha or banyan root, and nalika or cinnamon. We did not have all of these herbs on hand, so we used manjishta, triphala, vetiver, turmeric, musta, lodra, calamus root, willow bark, and cinnamon. Substitution is acceptable if herbs with similar properties are used. Substitutes of herbs with different qualities could be used to alter the properties of the oil. Unless it is desired to change the quality of the finished oil, it is important to never omit herbs, but to add suitable substitutes with similar properties. Then kalka, or paste, is made by combining the herbs in a bowl and mixing in enough water to make a thick but watery paste. This step is important to ensure that the herbs do not clump together in the oil. The oil is placed in a large pan and heated a little before adding the paste and water. The amount of water used is 4 times that of the oil. In this recipe, that would be about 6 liters. Our pan is not large enough to accommodate the full amount of water, so we will add more water later after the Tailam has reduced. Cooking the oil and herbal paste with water is important to ensure that the herbal substance is properly transferred to the oil. The mixture is brought to a boil and then cooked over medium heat, stirring occasionally until the water has almost evaporated. As the water evaporates, a thick, sticky paste will be visible in the oil. At this point, the heat is reduced to low, and the mixture must be stirred constantly to prevent sticking and burning. When the paste has been cooked to a madhyapaka consistency, the oil is removed from the heat and allowed to cool slightly before straining. To learn more about the stages of cooking herbal oil, watch our video on making herbal oils. When the oil has cooled just enough to handle, the oil is strained through cotton muslin or several layers of cheesecloth and stored in an airtight bottle. This is the finished product, Muurchhana Tailam, ready for use in other recipes. This oil could also be used, as is, for massage. It should be noted that it has required 2 full days of cooking and stirring to produce 1 gallon of Muurchhana Tailam, and that this is only the first step of making an Ayurvedic oil. A smaller quantity could be made in less time, but this is still a very time-consuming and labor-intensive process. It requires much work, but produces a very potent medicinal oil. It should be noted that out of the 11 herbs used for Muurchhana of sesame oil, 3 are warming or heating, and 8 are cooling. Some of the herbs used in this recipe also have extremely cooling, refrigerant properties, like lodra, nyagrodha, and hrivera. Sesame oil is heating, and therefore it is treated with predominantly cooling herbs to make it more neutral in virya and more suitable for all 3 doshas. It is generally said by scholars that coconut oil may be treated according to the same process by which sesame oil is treated. However, there is no recipe in the Vaishadhya Ratnavali for Muurchhana of coconut oil. Substituting more heating herbs may be desirable to help balance the cooling effect of coconut oil if a more tridoshic oil is desired. We will briefly outline the Murchana of other types of oil. Muurchhana of ghee is performed using haritaki, vibhitaka, amalaki, musta, haridra, jambira, which is citron or lime juice, water, and ghee. The Muurchhana of katu tailam, or mustard oil, is performed using amalaki, haridra, musta, bilva, dadima, nagakeshara, black cumin seeds, netrabala, nalika, vibhitaka, and manjishta, along with mustard oil and water. The Muurchhana of Eranda tailam, or castor oil, is performed using manjishta, musta, dhanyaka, haritaki, vibhitaka, amalaki, agnimantha, sugandhabala, vanyakharjura, vatashunga, haridra, daru haridra, nalika, shunti, and ketaki. This is cooked with the castor oil, and instead of water, kanji is used, which is an alcoholic fermentation of grains, and this is mixed with curd. We have also created a recipe for Taila Muurchhana using Western herbs. The advantage of using local herbs is that it helps connect people to the healing power of nature in the place where they live. Some Western Ayurvedic practitioners have said that they have had trouble getting Westerners to use Ayurvedic oils due to the unaccustomed smells. We have not had this problem ourselves, but have heard many Western practitioners say this, so we have created this oil to smell a little more like popular Western cosmetics. Muurchhana with these herbs will produce an oil with properties equal to, if not better, than those of the original recipe. The Muurchhana of sesame oil with Western herbs can be performed using bloodroot, bedstraw root, hibiscus, elderberry, hawthorn, rose hips, vanilla or Indian sarsaparilla, safflower, calendula, lavender, lemongrass, calamus root, lemon balm, witch hazel, sage, licorice, barberry, wild cherry, bay leaf, and cinnamon. There are many possibilities of herbs which could be used for Muurchhana, and we encourage people to create their own versions of Muurchhana tailam, which are most suitable to their own needs by using the herbs best for them. We hope this video helps people to unlock the secrets of ancient Ayurveda and to empower their own use of herbs for health, longevity, and spiritual realization. Om Namah Shivaya.